It's not your job to clean up their mess. It's not your job to make them feel comfortable abusing you. This is often what happens. This is why, and I totally get it, you're looking up a video about how to act when you run into the narcissist after no contact. Really think about this for a moment. Why would you even care about how you act? Do you think about how you act all alone in your living room? Are you looking up videos about how I should act all by myself in my living room when nobody is watching? And I understand, because you don't want to be abused. You're trying to figure out, how can I do this properly so I can limit or eliminate the abuse? But really ask yourself, are you still seeking validation in some pocket in your psyche from the narcissist, and that's why you want to know how to behave if you run into them? If you've had no contact, that's already taken so much courage. So I understand how scary it can be to run into them. And this has happened to me more than once. There's more than one narcissist. So I understand how scary it can be to run into them. And I've also run the gamut on overcompensating, see, because the tendency, right, is to overperform. I'm going to make it super comfortable for them to be mean to me. And I'm going to show them how little I care, because I'm totally fine. And my ego says, my life is so much better without you. And so I don't care if I run into you or not. Oh, hello. How are you doing? Right? And there's even self-aware narcissist channels. Mental Healness mentioned this about, oh, if you run into a narcissist, you should definitely say hello. Like, keep it moving, but like hello and goodbye and keep it moving, because otherwise I know I've gotten to you. It doesn't matter what you do. Have we gotten this straight yet? It doesn't matter what you do. It's never going to be good enough for the narcissist. Think about this. When things were going great in your mind's eye, in your body, you thought things were going great, even though maybe you saw red flags and you gaslit yourself and all that. But think about the best memory that you have with the narcissist. They were lying, cheating, defaming you, having flying monkeys, triangulating you. If you hadn't seen it yet, it was all happening behind the scenes. It was all happening backstage. And that's when things were good. So look at how the narcissist sabotages your mind. Because here it is, over, no contact. And yet you're still wondering how to behave, how you should behave with the narcissist. And I'm not shaming you, because I totally understand, because you want to know. And there's some channels that'll recommend writing out a script and doing all these things. And a part of me understands that. And I've tried to do that in the past. Okay, I will say this, or I'll be so cool, or I'll show them how I've moved on and I don't care, or whatever, right? But a lot of that is ego, ego, ego. Because you're saying that you still don't trust yourself in the moment to just follow your heart and to do what's right for you in the moment. And maybe that's not saying anything. Maybe that's not masking up and putting on a big fake smile and tap dancing around the fact that this person did you dirty. Maybe it's not trying to lie and act and mask up the way a narcissist often does and make them feel better for abusing you, because you want to show that you don't care. What if it's okay that you're a caring person? What if you could forgive yourself for thinking that you have to put on a big performance around abuse that occurred? What if it's okay that there's a part of you, a little kid inside, that's going, I have to overperform for my abuser to show that they didn't hurt my heart? What if it's okay that you're not okay with being abused? Could that be okay in your body? That you're not okay with people being really disrespectful and mean to you? Maybe the true self-love is to go, that's not okay. And this is uncomfortable. And that's okay. Because when I smile and I grace somebody with my good energy, it's genuine. Now, I do believe even mass murderers deserve love because it's not from a loving place that caused such a heinous crime. So I do believe that everyone deserves love. But that includes you. And sometimes that means being silent and taking care of yourself if that's what your heart says. And sometimes that means not putting on a big song and dance to show that you're okay. And then you can send them love from afar. But you don't have to put on the big, I'm so great, life is so good without you, I don't care that you abused me show. You can be emotionless and not react and give them this big reactive abuse like you know, biatch or you jerk and name call and go to that low vibration. But you can gray rock and just go, I'm not okay with that, without saying anything. And you can go, the most loving thing I can do for you is not condone and enable and encourage that kind of treatment to me or anybody. Because if I say that's okay to treat me that way, I'm saying that's okay to treat my kid that way and the world that way. So sometimes the most loving thing you can do if you run in to a narcissist after no contact is nothing. Now I know there's a lot of channels and advice that'll say you should put on the big song and dance. And I have done that for years with so many people. And it has never made it better. Because what happened was I lied to myself. And something I even learned in my acting training and why I love the Meisner technique and why it can help. If you're interested, please message me. Because it can help people, not just actors. It's like an amazing outlet creatively. But I had been in therapy and done different things, and it wasn't until I found the Meisner technique and my acting teacher in reading behavior would go, Leah, why do you laugh everything off and smile and joke everything off? And at first it was confusing to me because remembering a reaction to something stays with you. It becomes a personality trait. And I had a reaction to abuse by making a joke of it. Making the uncomfortable situation comfortable by making a joke or like awkward or like, you know, making everybody comfortable. And he says, that's not always truthful. And I was like, what do you mean? That's my personality. And he was like, sometimes it is truthful. Sometimes you're actually protecting your heart and covering up the truth by making a joke. And then in therapy, I had a therapist say the same thing. He's like, Leah, you're always performing, aren't you? I was like, what do you mean? He's like, you perform to make other people comfortable at your expense. So I had to look at my own behavior, and it was really hard because I was like, gosh, that's gotten me out of some sticky situations, my sense of humor. So you're saying my sense of humor isn't authentic? And again, my therapist and my acting teacher both said, sometimes it is. And sometimes it's a cover-up. It's a default to protect yourself. So there's been times when I've run into narcissists, exes or ex, friend or somebody, because I've had a lot of them in my life, unfortunately, but it's also been a blessing because it's taught me a lot about my own nature and human nature as a whole. And now I can give it back to you and we can heal. But I've run into them and tried to be the song and dance. I've done that with people. And it never felt good. It always did feel a lump in my throat. So even though my ego might have thought that was great, it didn't feel good. And I just recently ran into somebody and I was speechless. I was rendered speechless. And later it was kind of funny. Maybe I'll share that story with you after some time passes, but it is a little fresh, so I kind of rather not right now. But I was speechless. And that's okay too. And then later I was like bursting up laughing because I was just like, I was absolutely speechless. But that was what was true in my heart. So I didn't say anything. I didn't do the song and dance. And for me, that's tremendous growth because normally I would have. I would have put on a huge tap dance, stand-up comedy, the whole nine. But instead I was like, curtain, exit stage left. So sometimes nothing is something. And there's really no such thing as nothing. But it can be very powerful to just follow your heart. And if that means to be a mime, then do that. And ask yourself, why? Who am I performing for anyway? And why does my ego think that there's a right or wrong way? Who am I trying to impress? Am I still seeking validation by showing that I'm okay with abuse? What if you could be really healed by finally saying, you're not okay with abuse? So much love to you. Thank you for subscribing, commenting, liking, and sharing because it does help. It's a real thing, this algorithm we all hear about, and it pushes it out so more people see this. So I bow to you for contributing to that energy because it is healing. I'll see you next time.